Hi, everyone. I'm going to give people a quick minute or a couple seconds to get the notification that we're going live. I just got the notification, so hopefully some people will be in soon. Thanks for joining us for this Talking Story with Alumni. I'm just giving people a couple quick seconds to sign in. If you are tuned in, let us know if you're a student, if you're a fellow alum like me, and any questions that you might have for our alum that's coming on today. Thanks for joining, guys. I'm going to start. My name is Ku'u. I am a 2016 graduate of the ACM program, and this is Talking Story with Alumni. I love doing these. We do them every month because we get to catch up with some of my fellow classmates, my old classmates, but also, the younger class, the other graduating classes, and just see what they're doing now and hopefully learn from them, glean some tips and advice on, how we can move or where we can go after we graduate from the ACM program. So today I'm really excited because I'll be talking to Anna. If you guys have questions for Anna, don't forget you can drop them in the comments, or you can use that little Q&A feature and we'll get to them throughout or at the end. But Anna is a 2019 graduate, so we all know what it was like in that time. So she's going to share a bit about her experience in college, trying to find a job after that, and a little bit more about her job now as a graphic designer for a design firm. So I already see that Anna asked or requested to join this live, so let me see if I can add her in now. Let's accept, and if not, I'm going to invite her again. Hey,
Hi, Ku'u.
how are you doing?
Doing pretty good. Looking forward to our talk tonight, this
Oh,
evening.
me too. Okay, first off, can I just say, tell, I'm so nosy. I always ask people, what is that behind you?
Oh, it's like I collect a lot of things. So I'm into Sanrio, so you can kind of see like some Hello Kitty stuff right there.
Love.
And I collect Ariana Grande like
Oh,
vinyls, so
oh,
that's what's above me. But lots of
oh.
pink.
I love it. And is your hair pink too, or is that red?
Um, and it depends. Usually it's orange red, but I think it's
Ooh,
fading to like a pinkish
that's
orange at the moment.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's the perk of having vibrant colors, They can fade and then they still look like they're still a color, so they're
hmm
still bold and I love it.
Thank
I'm
you.
glad we have the queen in the background. I love Ariana Grande. We'll
Thank
just do
you.
a flash question or a quick question. What is your favorite Ariana Grande song? Because now I have to know.
Uh, I've been listening to this song on repeat. It's called Just a Little Bit of Your Heart or something
Oh,
like that. It's kind of like a ballad. Yeah,
nice.
that's my favorite song at the moment. But I think with Valentine's Day coming up, I think POV might be my top contender. So it
Okay.
changes, depends on the mood.
Oh, okay. How did you know I wanted to ask our audience if they have any plans for Valentine's Day? I know they have a couple of things going on campus, or they might have already had them, but you kind of led right in with that, so I love that. Also, I second POV, also my favorite song, perfect for any time.
Yep.
Well, I kind of already gave your intro and what we'll be talking about today, but I always start with the same question because, again, I'm nosy. Not only do I want to know what your background, but also, your background.
hmm
So tell me, when you were growing up, what did you want to be?
I think growing up, I definitely wanted to be in like a crime scene type of environment, so like a forensic investigator.
Whoa.
It's weird. I think because when I would watch TV often, and so normally that would be like crime shows, so CSI and Law and Order, and I think I was always just into like the whole scene where they're like doing some things in the lab, and that's kind of what I wanted to get into. But I think now I'm just a queasy type of person, so just looking at like crime scenes and stuff, like I gotta look away, like blood and all that gory stuff.
Wow,
So
wow, wow. Here
yeah,
we go. It's taking a turn. No, I'm kidding.
I know.
Oh, okay, who knew? First off, we have a science girly with us. Most times when you think about creative media majors or, just creative arts majors, we're very artistic, artsy, might not like science, but I love that you were interested in that when you were younger. How did you get into the arts then?
I think it was always part of me, like part of me growing up because my mom is a
Oh,
seamstress. So I think that kind of is like that artistic side that I got from her. But then my dad also became like a chef, and I feel like that's like a type of art in itself too.
mhm.
So I think it just started off with them and like having their own type of creativity made me want to get into a creative field as well. And I think with all the courses that I've taken in like middle school and high school, it kind of led me to this field of like digital media.
Hmm. Tell me how you got into that. I mean, you said you got, through your classes in middle school and high school, but what ultimately led you to the ACM program?
Oh, it, long story short, I think when I first started college, like out of high school, I went into like software engineering or computer engineering, computer
Oh,
programming
okay,
along
there
those
we go.
lines
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because I wanted to get into coding, but I thought I think after 2 years of doing that, it felt like I wasn't being creative, so I wanted to kind of add a little like graphic design or some sort of design element to it. And so I think I was about to approach graduation season, which is like getting my associates, and I was trying to look into transferring to get my bachelor's degree. And I think it was between obviously Manoa or West Oahu. And I wanted to get into more of like a digital media side of things. And doing my comparison, I felt like Manoa was more like traditional hands-on type of art versus West Oahu. I was like kind of looking through their program and they had like interface design and that immediately caught my eye. So I reached out to the person who was in charge and it happened to be Charla.
Mhm.
So luckily that's how I met Charla and we kind of just met in person and I kind of went through all the courses that I did take, like the credits, and seeing how that would transfer over to in order for me to get my bachelor's, and that's how I yeah that's kind of how my college journey um ended there, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah.
No, I mean, and I can see that transition a little bit, right, with the UX and the UI. I know that, even in my own experience, I worked really closely with my web developers and my coders because, like, I could see what I wanted, like, the page to look like or, like the
Mhm.
post to look like. But they're the ones who actually, like, had to code it in. And I still do that today. So it's kind of like a partnership in a way. But
Mhm.
I'm glad that you got to, you know, bring the things that you had already been learning and were interested in, but also grow that by going into digital art,
Mhm.
Can you tell me what, throughout college, and all of our current students might be able to relate, but we've got school, we've got family, we've probably got full-time, part-time jobs, plural, managing it all. What was your biggest challenge going through college and how did you overcome it?
I think everything you just said like a couple seconds ago, it was so relatable. I think when I was trying to finish my degree and um like at West Oahu, I was basically a workaholic. So I think over I was always overwhelmed with like school projects on top of couple of jobs that I was working at the same time to kind of just make ends meet, like just financially support myself and finding time to focus on my studies. I think that definitely took a toll on me. Definitely not knowing my limits at that time too. So I think it was overwhelming to the point where I couldn't focus on my work, and it. Oh, I think I was trying to think about this answer too because it made me a little emotional.
Hmm.
But I think Charlotte definitely.
It's
Oh my god!
it's
I told
okay.
myself I wouldn't cry. Oh my
It's
god!
okay. It's okay. It's
But
okay.
Charlotte definitely got me through it because I think she noticed, and so she recommended me to one of the school psychologists, which I didn't even know was the wall who offered that. And so that was great. Like just being able to find out that we have like free resources available to help us out. And yeah, so Charla, I guess I did take Charla's courses too at that time, and she must have noticed that I was slacking off. So she reached out and asked me like how I was doing, and like at this time I don't even know what I was worrying about. Like that's all in the past now, but I think it's just so funny because yeah, I think it's just all the overwhelmingness and like what I was going through at that moment and just trying to like survive and graduate, you know. I think that's what I was trying to focus on. And so I think that was like the biggest challenge for me. It's just my mental headspace wasn't really there. But being able to like, you know, have at least one person to talk to about like your challenges and like where to move forward from there, like was super helpful. And so I definitely am very appreciative of Charla for, you know, reaching out or noticing in the first place and then reaching out and letting you know that there are options and other people who are willing to listen to you and guide you to where you need to be. And so, yeah.
No, 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 no. You're gonna make me cry. I mean, if you cry, I'll cry. But first off, thank you so much for being vulnerable with us and sharing your biggest challenges. I know that when we sit and do these kinds of things, people are like, oh, like we're just going through the highlight reel basically of the ACM program sometimes. But that's why I asked that question because I want to know, and our students want to know, what were you facing? And I totally, totally relate, and I'm sure others can too who are watching, of feeling overwhelmed at that time in your life. I mean, I look back at it, I'm like, I don't even know where my 20s went. Like my 20s
Yeah.
flew by, but I wish I had the presence of mind to or I mean, shout out to Charla for helping you. I think Charla has helped all the alums who have been on, and we've all given
Definitely
her a shout
did.
out. But you definitely gave her a different one, or we attribute our academic, and our career success, but shout out to her for recognizing that you might have needed some, resources and pointing you in that way. Because I think, I bet a lot of us can feel like, dang, I wish I had noticed this sooner. I wish I had gotten help sooner, just to
Hmm.
manage all of that in that time. I just want to remind, if anyone has any questions for Anna, please drop them in the comments or in the Q&A. I mean, I've got a ton, but I always love to see what other people want to ask, but also just because you're being so open with us, that makes
Hmm.
us all feel a lot more comfortable and a lot more relatable and just open to, this conversation. So thank you for that.
Hmm.
I'm sure you were overwhelmed with a lot of different projects. I can't even remember how much I had to. Sometimes I like go into La Lima and I like have flashbacks. I'm like, oh gosh, oh god, like traumatic. But I wonder, for you, looking back at your college career, what is the assignment that you are most proud of?
It, it was hard to choose. Like when I was trying to think of a project I did, I think anything that involved like producing
Hmm.
like a physical collateral, that was definitely my favorite one because that was something I've never learned in my entire life. So just being able to get that experience through all the courses, and I feel like one of the courses would be like design in public space. I believe Charlotte taught that class. That was definitely fun, but I guess to answer that question more specifically, it's definitely the senior capstone project. That one, I'm. Oh
Cheryl,
yeah,
put it.
Charlotte definitely said it. Yes, it. That is probably my most favorite one. Um, Only because it taught me a lot about what is like still occurring today in this field. Right, you have to work with team members and kind of go through all the steps in order to get that project done. And so I think like with me and Gabe, so, oh sorry, I partnered with Gabriel Peters for this senior capstone project, and I think we were like one of the few. Well, we're not the first, but we were one of the group projects that occurred during that time. And so, yeah, I'm not sure where to start with that. But I just want to say, like, the final product for sure, it made me so proud. But I'm a little bummed because we forgot to renew the subscription. So for the website, so it's no longer active or like you can't really see it anymore. So all I can see are screenshots that I saved.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like that is definitely my most favorite project that I've done in my college career.
I'm glad you touched on like working within a team, but can you tell us what the project was? First off, everyone always says their projects, their senior projects. So I'm sure Charlotte's like, yay, it's got impact. They'll remember this. But tell us what the project was.
So basically, I think I don't know how to say it. I think so. Basically, Gabe specializes in graphic design, and so his focus was more on social media. And at the time, I wanted to become a web developer or web designer along like those realms. And so we decided to try and see how the relationship with social media and web design um, combined together can help make like I man I should have prepared for this question.
No.
But I think basically what we did was we were handed a like report
Oh.
involving
Mhm.
sustainability and stewardship. And so we wanted to figure out a way to make that more interactive and also to engage to our like audience or I guess people who may be interested in learning more about the topics in there and seeing how we could use our skills with graphic design, social media, and web design in order to make it interactive and more in like get more people involved in learning more about the topics there.
Charlotte said to tell a story, and I think
Oh
you
no.
explained it. So no, no, no. Like that was your assignment, right? To take this
Oh yeah.
clunky report and make it something that people can relate to and easily understand for the every person, right?
Hmm.
I, she mentioned something about a handbook. What was the
Oh,
handbook?
she was. So Charlotte was also a part of our project. I believe this is what she's talking about. She was our copywriter. So she
Oh,
helped us out with. So we printed like a whole handbook, and I believe she went through every single page, made any markings, and what text to include on the website and on our social media or graphic design that we were trying to produce. And so, yeah, yep, what Charlotte said. So we
yeah,
basically helped me the report come to life,
yeah.
basically.
Cool. And I like what you were saying earlier about having to work within a team. Any tips for our, and I'm just thinking back on our time when we had to like shoot videos as a team, and someone was in charge of the gear and the director and whatever. Can you tell us or share any tips for our students on how to handle that? I mean, we're all adults, we're all in college, we're all learning. How
Hmm.
can we work better within, a group?
I personally, for me, I think just being approachable and open-minded will definitely like help out a lot in terms of that because you want to be able to listen to like everyone's opinions, right? And sometimes you
Mm,
may not agree with what they are suggesting, I guess. And so just being able to, talk it out and come up with a solution that works for all of everyone, then I think yeah, approachability is definitely number
mm,
one for sure. Like if we get along, we vibe, then I think it's gonna be easy work. It's probably not even gonna feel like working. That's what I
mm.
always tell myself. And yeah, just be open minded, be kind. Yeah, for sure.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's a good one.
yeah. I I've had my fair share of people who, yeah,
Ooh,
we probably don't
no,
have
I'm
the
kidding.
experience. It's just there are a lot of group projects that we've done throughout the ACM program, and so I know there were like some group projects where there were at least 10 people in the group, that sort of thing, and so yeah, it's just a matter of keeping everyone on track and making sure they do their part, and
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I like the approachability. I like the be kind. Sometimes I think when we're working on creative projects, we might feel like everyone has a different vision or a different style, and how do we incorporate, the voices of the team where everyone feels empowered? And I think that's not something that you'll go through just in college. It's
Mhm.
something you'll go through throughout your life and even in the workplace. Um, we've had previously some 2019, pandemic grads come
Oh,
on,
yes.
but tell me what it was like looking for a job after you graduated.
It was depressing, first
Mm,
of all. I think I think I want to say I was going through job search even after the pandemic. I think we'll probably get into that, but it was hard. I didn't know where to look after the pan or once like the whole state shut down. And luckily for me, I was already employed with Nordstrom, which I'm still currently at, but part time now. And so at least I had like a stable income coming
mhm,
through. But otherwise, just trying to look into jobs within the field, so like creative media, it was definitely hard. I did have to go through I don't know what they're called, but like Altres,
mhm.
the job
Like we're
those
hiring, recruitment.
yeah,
Yeah,
recruiter,
yeah,
yeah, job recruiters. And so I was able to be placed in like temporary marketing type of creative
yeah. Mm,
assistant jobs,
mhm,
but it wouldn't last long. And I think the main thing that I was looking for too is was it like making sure I get insurance, like medical, vision, that sort of thing. Like I definitely needed that, especially during that time. And so, yeah, I think I just did job recruitment. I did look into freelancing for a bit, and Charla definitely helped me out with one of the projects that I was fortunate enough to work with one of the professors. I'm not sure if he's there now at West Oahu, but I helped him with his, I believe, psychologist website,
mm,
clinical psychologist website. So that was really fun. I kind of learned what it was like to kind of have like your own business for a bit, but I later learned like it's just not for me. So
mm,
yeah, I definitely wanted to keep myself in. Yes, Doctor Seuss.
mhm,
But yeah, I think during that time, I just wanted to make sure I was still proactive, still within the field, focusing on creative work as much as I could. But then it got busy, life got busy. And so I kind of put that to the side for a bit. And then that's where Charlotte reached out to me again a couple years later, asking how I've been doing with my job search. And I just couldn't really land any permanent position type of roles and what I was looking for in terms of benefit. And that was just the most important thing. So yeah, I think that was my journey. It was definitely hard, but I think as long as you have like a backup plan that you're okay with in the time being, which I did with like working at Nordstrom, I think that helped me kind of be stable a little bit.
mm, mhm. I mean, first off, it was crazy then, right? Like it was a whole different world,
Hmm.
And I'm sure all of the expectations that you had as a graduate, that any graduate would have, right, from college. I mean, our expectations was we'll go out and we'll get a job, but then there's a pandemic and it's hard. But I mean, shout out to you for finding those opportunities, even if they were temp, right? To continue to build your skills, and then also recognizing when you needed to take a break, or when you needed to step away from, and find that balance
Hmm.
within your own life. Because I think sometimes we forget that, like, and maybe it's not everybody, but we're like so committed, like we have to get a job in creative media. That's what I got my degree in. But like, let's be real, it was really hard then, and it's still hard like today.
Hmm. I
Can
can definitely imagine. So being back into like the job force, it can be a very scary thing too. So yeah, I think at that moment, just making sure that you have someone that you can talk to about it, kind of talk it out, figure out what
mm,
your next steps or plans are. It's always very helpful. And so again, I'm very thankful for Charla.
mhm.
Always thankful for her. I'm
Yeah.
always gonna say it no matter what.
You're
So
so
yeah, thanks.
you're so nice. You're so sweet for doing that. I mean, it's I mean it's true. It it is so helpful when you have somebody who can help you go through it. And especially if you make those contacts in college and you can network and, having good relations with your teachers. I mean, it really helps for in the future when you need that. She put LOL.
Yeah.
But it's true. We always shout out Charlotte, but I love that you're shouting her out in a different way, to show like how supportive in all facets of your, college
Mhm.
career or experience that she is. So, yeah, shout out to her. But I I wanted to go back to what you were sharing about that transition. And before we get into the job that you have now, two things. Want to remind people to drop those questions. But for you, my question is, you know, no one could have prepared anyone for what the world would be like during and after the pandemic. But what is something you wish someone had told you about the real world and getting a big girl job? What do you wish someone said so that you knew? Or at least you knew?
Man, there's a lot.
Oh, list them off. No.
I I think the main thing is just being resourceful.
Mm,
Yeah, I think learn to take initiative and be resourceful because that's kind of how I had. That's kind of how I had to live my life, I guess you could
yeah.
say. I don't know how to word that like better, but I think yeah, just man, there's just so many resources out there. Like Google is your friend, right? And so I think yeah, you know, sorry,
No,
I can't answer that
no,
question,
you
but I think it's
did.
just that,
Yeah.
really. Yeah.
You totally did, being resourceful. And I think that's something, yeah, definitely that we all kind of wish we knew more about, especially in college. It kind of helps to have, your teachers who are guiding you, and then you have your classmates who, they're reminders that you have a class to go to and projects to work on. So having that kind of structure, it
Yeah.
makes people feel really comfortable maybe. So after they graduate and they have to do things on their own, it's hard. It
Hmm.
it, it can be so hard. Tell us about your current job.
I'm currently a graphic designer for this local company that's based in here on Oahu called Design Asylum. And I didn't realize too that the owner president of the company is also a professor. I
Mm.
don't know if he's a professor now at West Oahu, but he teaches like every semester at different schools. Like I don't know if I can say where he works, but all I can say is he works at
He's
a
a
lot of
yeah.
university. And I was like, whoa, like that's something I want to do
Mm.
when I later in life when I'm more skilled or seasoned, I guess. I want to be able to teach and give back the way that he does. And so anyway, sorry, sidetrack. So I'm currently a graphic designer for Design Asylum and they're fully remote. So I get to work from home. So this is
Nice.
technically my little cubicle
Your
office right
office.
now. Yeah. And so, you gotta
Yeah,
decorate it so that work
for
is fun every day when you come in,
sure.
right? And so they used to have an office, but then pandemic happened, right?
Mhm.
And so I think that's where they just transitioned to fully remote or work from home. And that's my very first like work from home remote type of job too. So it took a lot of getting used to, but otherwise, yeah, that's what I've been doing. And I just made a year this month, earlier
Yay!
this month. So that's
Congrats.
exciting. Thank you. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of what I'm working on or what I'm doing at the
Yeah.
moment.
I I can you tell us what your like everyday looks like? I know you said you work from home, but is Design Asylum like a firm, like an agency? So you do like client work? Tell us what your
Oh,
everyday looks like.
yes, Design Asylum is definitely an agency. We work with different clients. Mainly, all the clients I've worked with so far are based here in Hawaii as well, or like not here, but just the whole Hawaii state in general. But there is one that's kind of based out in I think France or something. But I don't work on that project too often. Um, so yeah, they do work on client projects that they request, and whenever that comes through, that goes through me and my art director, and from there we kind of just come up with new um, guess, well, I'm kind of like going around a little bit.
No, no,
Sorry. Oh,
no.
I'm like trying to think like how does it normally start? But yeah, basically, so the projects go through the president, the owner, and then he'll relay the information to my art director and I, and that's where we kind of focus on what needs to be done. And from there, I kind of just do some research, background research on the company or on what that topic or project is about, and that's where we kind of come up with compositions, so new materials, new ideas and stuff. And that's where I struggle the most. It's like coming up
Mm.
with new ideas. And there's like a lot of projects that come in, so you got to come up with new ideas every time.
Right.
And being that it's like kind of like a fast-paced environment too, you got to really get that done right away because there's like deadlines and time that yeah, deadlines in order for us to meet like there's just a lot that goes into it basically, like, especially if it's like a printing type of projects where you need to print like for a wall or a magazine, stuff like that. Like you got to take into account for how long the printing company um would take for that too. And so yeah, I think we just kind of it's kind of like a school project. I should have just started with that. Sorry. Oh no.
I appreciate you tying it back and making it a little more relatable for any of our students who are watching. But I get it. I mean, I get it, but maybe I'm sure other people get it because you explained it so well, you know? But I wonder what is like just hearing that you have worked on a lot of different projects and, I also agree that sometimes I have a hard time coming up with new ideas. Sometimes I feel like I've run out of ideas, like nothing is new. And then sometimes I do things I'm like, is that new? I feel like I saw that somewhere. I've
Yeah. Oh
totally ripped
man.
that.
Yeah, that's how I feel all the time too. Imposter syndrome. Oh
Oh,
man.
true. We've talked about that a lot on this on these live streams. But can you share a little bit about maybe your favorite project that you've done in the last year with your company?
There's so many. Like
Oh,
when I see the projects completed and like you can see like hands on and everything, it's just you're just proud. Like that's your baby, you know? But I think the one that I really, really love and like it it's so nice, I guess you could say,
hmm
is it's for the fertility clinic of Hawaii. So
hmm
they relocated to a new location right by Alumni Center, and we were fortunate enough to be given this opportunity to work with them to design one of their wall. It's kind of like a mural. Mural.
Mural.
I'm like,
Yeah, we got it.
yeah. And so, like, that project was so challenging for me. I, like, almost cried every week, I want to say. But, no, I'm just kidding. Not really,
Well,
but.
hey, you should be proud. Put it on your resume.
Yeah. Oh, my portfolio for I'm like so excited to put on my portfolio. But
Good.
there yeah, there's just so many things, so many unknowns when it came to this project because I've never done anything as large scale
Large,
as
yeah.
that.
hmm
Yeah, and so I felt bad because the owner, president of Design Asylum, he had to hold my hand a little bit when we were going through this project. And so that's why I'm forever thankful for him and my art director, too, who guided me through this whole process because it was basically my design was chosen for this wall. And so
Oh,
I basically had to execute it from start to finish, and just learning about like different materials because it was printed on like acrylic like frames, I guess you could say.
oh, okay.
And so had no idea what that was or what type of
Right.
materials like you can come up with. There's
Print
like
on, or
yeah,
yeah, or
yeah, there's
how it
so many.
looks, or
And
yeah.
so if I could like plug the photos that we posted about it. Like I'm just so proud of how it turned out because I love the way it looks. I love the color. I love the message behind it and everything too. It just ties into their branding, to the fertility clinic's branding too. And so
Mm-hmm.
just seeing it is just a beautiful artwork, you know. And so I guess that's why it makes me so proud of that project till this day. But I can definitely say that for a lot of like the projects that we've completed already in just 1 year that I've been with the company. It's pretty amazing how much we can do with just a team of three people. So it's
Wow.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First off, you should be proud of yourself. And the way that you're talking about it, I want to go there just to see what it looks like. I'm sure other people can relate. Because I mean, I want to see this great project that you're proud of. And I mean, you should be. You should take the time to, like, I have like a vault that tracks like all of the projects that I'm most proud of. And I put like little notes of like what people have said about it,
Hmm.
just because for you and your career, you want to look back and be able to say like, hey, look at all the good things that I did, and let's remember, um, what people said, but also, like encourage yourself,
I should do that. Like if I
do
ever
it.
hear any like anyone kind of commenting on it and stuff like that, I should just put it on the site like word of affirmation for me, you know? And so I love that.
Exactly. It's like saving other people's, yeah, affirmations of your work. I like
Hmm.
screenshot the messages like from my bosses if they like something. I'm like,
Oh.
yay. And I just file it away so I can remember that, hey, like I do good work. And I think that goes back to what we were saying earlier about feeling overwhelmed,
Hmm.
in college, and like feeling like you have so many things to do, but really pulling yourself out and reminding yourself like why you're doing these things and that you are good at these things. This also goes back to this imposter syndrome that we're talking about. I only have a couple more questions for you, so I'm going to plug again. If anyone has questions, drop them. Going into a little bit about, feeling like, do I have any new ideas? Is my work good? What advice would you give for our students who are looking for creative careers or trying to enter the creative industry? What kind of advice would you give them if they're also struggling with wondering if they can come up with these kinds of things and if their work is good enough?
I think the first thing I would tell them is just take a deep breath and just relax. It's not that it's not a big deal, I want to say, because I feel
Say
like I
that.
take
Also say that. So I have to tell myself too. I have to tell myself I'm not a neurosurgeon. Hello.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Because I feel like I take it too seriously sometimes. Like I
Mhm.
just want to perfect things, you know. Like I guess in a sense I am a perfectionist or strive to be,
Mhm.
and sometimes it's okay to not be, and just kind of go with the flow with things, and just get it done. But with
Oh.
good quality, and
Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
strive to be the best you can be. But otherwise, like kind of tying back to what I mentioned earlier, is just to just take initiative and know your place, and yeah, just be resourceful, because sometimes in order to get things done, you need to be the one to start that,
Move.
like take that step. And
True.
so yeah, you don't want to be stuck wondering and like just overthinking and coming up with all these scenarios when the easiest thing to do is just to keep going.
Yeah. For sure. How to get, these are great tips for how to get unstuck, but you also reminded me of something that one of my old coworkers used to tell me all the time. It's just done, not perfect.
Mm.
We're just making social media posts with, we just have to, if sometimes I like share when other like big accounts have like a typo or something to remind myself that even the New York Times gets typos.
Hmm.
Okay. So it's not the end of the world. Taking a deep breath and realizing, okay, this one is done, but I can move on to the next one and make it better.
That's relatable because in the alumni email that was sent out earlier this month regarding
Okay.
like our talk story, my last name was spelled incorrectly on that. But that's okay. I didn't take it personally, but that's the thing about being in design too, is you notice all these flaws and errors, but at the end of the day, just be open minded. People make mistakes. We're all human,
Yeah, truly.
but
Charlotte says, LOL. Charlotte, are you the one? I knew it. She's the one who writes those.
I
It's
hope you
okay.
know how to spell my last name. It's so, I want to say it's very common, but
It is.
it's okay. It's okay if you've never seen my last name before, so don't worry.
She's, I'm sure she's seen it a lot. And also, she's doing a meal. Oh, she said, I
Uh, she,
spark.
she copy and pasted.
No kidding.
Did I spell it wrong?
Oh, and see, now we
Oh.
have to look back in the email thread.
Oh, Charla. That's okay. I
It's
forgive you.
okay. Yeah, I knew you were gonna say that. I mean, yeah, that is the other thing too about being so detail oriented about our work because we care about it. We're creatives. We want it to come out in the way that we see it in our minds, in the way that we dreamed, you know? So I love that advice, and I saw that other people also appreciated it. What is something, just generally, doesn't have to be about work or your career or even in college, just for your life, what is something you wish someone told you? Um, about the real world, as I mentioned, or what do you, it can also be personal too.
I think just navigating through everything post college and through the pandemic, I would say don't be afraid to talk to people. Like whether
Oh,
it doesn't matter if you're I know there's like stigma against like male and female whoever reaching out for help when you need it, and it's okay.
oh,
Like we're not here to judge. I feel like sometimes you just need someone to talk to,
mhm,
and usually like the conversations that you have with like certain individuals that can help you spark more ideas later on, especially if you need like that kind of push in order to get the ideas flowing. And so
mhm.
I think, and like I think I say this because I'm naturally a very shy person. I don't really like to talk unless someone approach me, but I'm
You're a
working
great
on it.
talker. Yeah, no, you're doing great on here,
Oh,
let me tell you.
thank you. But
No,
yeah, naturally I'm very shy, and I think that has held me back from a lot of opportunities and a
wow.
lot of things that I would love to have done in in the future or in even the past life. But I think just if I could tell myself that and tell other people who might be the same as me, it's just don't be afraid to reach out and talk to someone that you feel comfortable talking to. And sometimes you just need that one person to listen to that can kind of help you move forward in life, you know? And so that's something I wish I had told myself back in the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, I mean, it ties into what you were sharing earlier about looking for those resources and support on campus. I mean, it obviously shows in the way that you've interacted with Charlotte and how she's supported you. And I think, like I said, it applies outside of your career, you know, and outside of your job. Like, just having that space and that person or those people to be able to support you through things and not feeling like you'll be judged or, I mean, finding your support system, that is
Hmm.
so important.
Very.
Where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years?
Hopefully teaching.
I
I
love that.
feel I like that has always been on my like was it on my list of things to do. Is just I really want to give back because my experiences and what I've gone through today wouldn't be without like the help and like the willingness from those who has helped me like guide me along this way, you know. And so just being like once I'm seasoned and I know what I'm doing, like I'm 100% confident in the work that I do, like I definitely want to be able to kind of share that experience with whoever is going through what I had gone through like 5, 10 years ago. Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. I just don't want to teach now because I'm not 100% there. That's the main reason why. But that is something I would love to do in the next few years down the
Mm.
line.
And I can see that for you, honestly, in your nature and the way that you're sharing your own experiences. I can imagine that, you know, you as a teacher, probably equally very open, you know, and supportive, just as you have been supported in your, why did Charlotte say disclaimer to me? Oh, oh
Aw.
yeah, that last part where you're like, not yet. Why did she hit you up for a job? No.
No, I'm surprised
She
she
wants
hasn't.
to.
But no,
No,
she
she
probably.
wants to, I can tell.
We'll talk about it in a few years from now,
Yeah.
Charlotte.
And it's so I'm gonna just from what you're sharing, I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes like some days we're 100% on it and sometimes we're not, you know? But
Hmm.
it's okay if yeah, it's okay if you never reach that 100%. Even me, how I've had been in the real world for what, like way too long, honestly. It's 2016, almost 10 years since I graduated. Jesus. Anyway, I and even for me, sometimes I definitely feel like I'm only 75, 80, some days 20, you know? So I think that goes again to what you were saying about just being able to pull yourself out and look up, you know, look around you, see who's there for you, and just keep pressing ahead. Yeah,
Yeah.
as Charlotte
And I feel
said.
like too, it's because there's just so much to learn. Like you
True.
can't really know
True.
everything, and that's why I feel like I'm not always 100% confident because I feel like there's so much more out there that I haven't even touched or learned yet. And
Yeah.
so, yeah,
That's that growth
we learn.
mindset, girl.
Yeah.
That's that
I
lifelong
have
learner.
a
Look at you.
tattoo that says growth over here.
Oh,
So,
psst. I knew we are aligned. I see. I see. I only have a couple more questions. If you could work on like dream up your big creative project, no limits, no monetary limits. I feel like, you could go all out. What is something that you would want to work on?
I've always been into like interactive museum, especially going to the ones in Japan. If you heard Team Lab, so
Yeah.
we had something kind of similar back. I forgot when, like 2016, 2017 in Hawaii. And I think, with that being said, I definitely want to design an interactive museum here. And I don't know what type of what it will focus on just yet. Maybe something that's related to like the Hawaii, like Hawaii flower, Hawaii animals, that kind of stuff. Like something interactive but also educational where it would be fun for everyone to learn.
Mhm.
I definitely would like to dive deep into that because I know nothing about like installations and something big like that. As I mentioned with like the project I've done with my current job,
Mm.
I've never done any big, large scale projects, and so being able to do that would be nice, and that would definitely give like other people a chance to, you know, find something to do and enjoy and kind of appreciate at the same time.
Yeah. Okay, first off, if I'm remembering this correctly, Charlotte also said she wants to do something
No.
like that. Charlotte, let us know because I feel like that's what she said during our talk story. But also circling back to the growth, you're growing into it. Like you might not know how to do like a whole museum or like multiple installations, but you know how to do a mural, you know? So
Yeah.
check that off, you know? You're making your way up there. And I mean, I love that kind of interactive stuff. I think it's cool and it like your senior project makes history, makes like reporting or data or whatever it is come to life. So how cool that you kind of already have done that in your college career. You're growing that in, your career now.
Hmm.
And I mean, I just can't wait to see. She started with Stella, the mural, and now it's the combo. See, that's what I'm saying. You are on your way, Anna, and
Aw.
we're so excited to see where you'll end up, team up. Oh, here we go. No kidding.
It's the collaboration.
It's a collab. Oh, well, they do display senior projects in the building. Have you been? Did you go on the alumni tour?
I did, yes. Oh, it was so nice. Yep, I
It's
did.
nice over there. But
I
I know
think
they
I'm.
have,
Oh,
oh, go
my
ahead,
bad.
sorry.
I
No,
think
no.
I'm planning to visit Charlotte. Sorry, meant to tell you this, but
What?
I'm planning to visit by the end of this month. Also to pick up the the giveaway that I won that I forgot to pick up in November.
Not November.
It was for the Thanksgiving thing, but yeah, I think I'm planning to stop by campus sometime soon because I'll be in the area and um yeah, I think
Nice.
I definitely want to be able to kind of see what has evolved there.
Mm-hmm. But I know that they have some senior projects, that are up on the walls. And I don't know. Oh, she said text me. Text her when you're going. But also, I get where Charlotte's going with this. Maybe we can start with an alumni exhibit or some like alumni produced,
Mm.
for a little bit, Charlotte. Don't add me to this project. I'm just ideating. Oh, Charlotte's thinking big. She said maybe us we can look for a space in Waikiki and team up.
That's a
Oh,
lot of
girl.
money. Like that, I'm sorry. That question is like no limit. So if we did have like unlimited amount of money to sponsor this,
Mhm.
like this is something I would definitely do.
Yeah, you're
You're
automatically
automatically
added.
added.
She's talking to you.
Oh, if I have the
Well,
time,
you have
yes,
the
for sure.
vision.
Yep.
Yeah, and in the 5 to 10 that you mentioned.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
All right, my last question for you. What is inspiring you right now? Who, maybe an account, maybe an art, maybe an installation?
Nothing. Oh, I'm sorry. Not nothing, but
She's like, nothing.
I want I want to say like everyone that I've talked to or who has helped me along the way is an
Oh,
inspiration to me, and yeah, it's I think it's just I'm just thinking about like my current supervisors, like my art director, the owner of the company that I work with, and my supervisor at Nordstrom. I'm like doing shout outs at this point, but
I mean, do it.
but yeah, I think it's just the people that I engage with or like talk to regularly, whether it's about life or my projects or what I'm doing and stuff like that. Like that's an inspiration in itself because
Hmm.
it kind of just helps you learn more about like just I guess whatever you're talking about and like about the projects that I've done and yeah, I don't know. I just I'm just grateful for like what they've done for me and how they have provided me and kind of helped me move along in like all my projects because there's so many times where I feel so stumped and like I definitely need that inspiration, but just reaching out and talking to these people will really help me kind of like figure out where I need to go. And so I
Hmm.
think that's my inspiration is just talking to people who are willing and openly willing to talk to you, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so nice that we're tying it back again to your support system and having those because it's not only, supporting you when you're having a hard time, it also supports you in those lighter moments, right? That inspire you to do the things that you're doing. So, I mean, you can shout them out, So I mean, I think that puts a nice bow on our conversation because it just reminds everyone who's watching and our students who will watch this later that like having that is so important and
Mhm.
finding that when you can, where you can. I mean, being open to finding that when and where you can, I think only helps you be and not just not just like a good artist or a good designer or whatever, a producer, whatever, just being a good person,
Yes,
it helps you be a good
exactly.
human. So I mean, I'm so glad we got to talk to you today, Anna. I mean, I can feel it from you, and I'm going to help you manifest that you're going to be a teacher because I definitely think that some students deserve you as their teacher,
Ooh.
with how much you've been supportive and how I can imagine how supportive you'll be. So, some last minute plugs. If you guys have questions, this is your chance because I'm about to do just some quick things and then we're going to hell it. So, do it now. Do it now in the comments. But just a reminder for everyone watching, follow this account, the UHWACM, if you aren't already. And be on the lookout for our next alumni talking story. It's going to happen in March. We do these monthly, like I said at the top. Um, no date yet, but if you are subscribed to the ACM newsletter, you will see the date and also all of the opportunities and scholarships that are available for our students now. Oh, Charla, last question. What would you like to teach? She's going to make it.
uh,
No kidding.
I mean, I before I wanted to teach like web design, like the process of how to get started with that, but my current job position doesn't focus primarily on web design, so I've been focusing more on graphic design, and that's where it's more like comes down to like printing and making sure that I, oh man, I feel like a class like that it's already been taught
It's
or
okay.
is oh I could probably take over maybe, but
Yeah.
I wanted to teach like a printing.
Oh,
I don't know what it's called, like print
yeah.
design, print and publication design, because I never knew anything about that until I started working at my current job for Design Asylum. Oh, take
She's a
over.
takeover. Wait,
But
Charlotte, is that your class? I feel like she's describing what used to be your class, but anyway, keep going.
oh, it could be. I know design in public space was definitely it was kind of like an
Mm,
eye-opening course for me. Like that's where I kind of started learning about going like contacting printing companies and like making sure that they print the colors correctly and
wow.
the dimensions, all that good stuff. When it comes down to graphic design, and I didn't know there was so much that goes into it until I started working at my current
Yeah.
position. And so if I'm able to take what I've learned right now through this design job I would love to teach that to students. Um, Hopefully at West Oahu because that's where I came. Oh, Scott's class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she still has your bag, apparently.
What bag? We'll talk about that.
She'll
But
say, yeah, she'll text you
oh,
after
oh,
this.
I know. I remember now. I remember. It was a project, and I did some printing on
What?
a tote bag, and that was my what's it called? The outcome of that project. It was kind of
Mm.
fun, but
I
I'm
mean,
not.
Charlotte's
Yeah.
still using it, so must be good. I mean, I think that goes back to what you were saying about growing into it, you know? Like I love that we have this vision for you. Can't wait to see it come true, but also you're growing into it and what a beautiful journey as well.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we are going to sign out. Don't forget to subscribe to the newsletter and also follow this account. Anna, thank you so much. I'm so glad that I got to meet you. We met yesterday,
Yeah.
but I'm glad we got to, sit down and really talk story today. I really appreciate you. Thanks everybody for
Thank
watching.
you.
We'll catch you at the next one. Bye.
See ya.